Would you predict that by the end of 2027 will be the destruction of Al-Aqsa?
Yeah, okay. So let's go into what we know about Al-Aqsa so far. Okay, so um, there was a Jewish rabbi who's very well known in Israel, but last June, during the 12-day war between Israel, United States, and Iran, he said basically, wow, this war would be the perfect opportunity to stage a false flag operation where the Iranian missile is flying over Al-Aqsa Mosque. We demolish it and we blame it on the Iranians. Then the Persians and the Arabs would go to war against each other and we could laugh our heads off. What a great way to resolve the conflict in the Middle East. Okay, so that's one piece of evidence. Another piece of evidence is the idea of the red heifer. And so the Jews, the Messianic Jews, want to rebuild Solomon's temple, build a third temple. But to do so, you need to consecrate the ground. So you need to make a red heifer sacrifice. But according to the Bible, the red heifer has to be perfect. And so there's this guy, this farmer in Texas, who spent years and years, millions of dollars, genetically engineering perfect red heifers. Then he shipped them to Israel. And so once they have Alexa destroyed, they make the red heifer sacrifice and then build the third temple, okay? The third temple itself has already been designed and built brick by brick. There's something called the Temple Institute in Jerusalem, and they have built the third temple. And all they do is move the third temple from the current location to the Al-Aqsa Mosque location. So this can happen right away. Okay? That's another piece of evidence. Also, we know that there have been archaeological digs under the Al-Aqsa Mosque these past 2 years. So if you want to do a controlled demolition, right? Well, that's what you do. You pretend it's an archaeological dig. You implant explosives under the Al-Aqsa Mosque, and then you pretend it's an Iranian missile, and then you blow up the Al-Aqsa Mosque, and then problem solved, right? It's not, we didn't do it. It was the Iranians who blew it up. Then you had Netanyahu last week say that an Iranian missile was just so close to the Al-Aqsa Mosque. And he said, oh, it was so close, and there's a great danger that the Iranians will blow up all these holy sites, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the Western Wall, the Al-Aqsa Mosque. The Iranians are that crazy, so watch out. It could happen. Okay? So you have all these things lined up, and you have to believe that given the fact that right now Israel is run by these religious fanatics, given the fact that for decades these religious fanatics in America, the Christian Zionists, have been supporting Israel, and given the fact that this war provides perfect pretext and excuse to destroy the Al-Aqsa Mosque, they'll probably try something, okay? But when, I can't say. It could be 2027. It determines on how the war goes. And also the thing about these religious people is they believe in astrology, they believe in numerology, okay? So if they were to do this, there has to be a ritual and there has to be a astrological alignment.
Right.
Right? So they haven't planned it out, but I don't have access to this information, so I can't tell you, but they probably have it planned it out. And they'll probably enact a ritual involving a false flag in order to destroy the Al-Aqsa Mosque. That's my guess.
That part really fascinates me. And I think we'll touch into that later in the interview. But what would that trigger, theoretically, the destruction of Al-Aqsa Mosque?
Right, so I think they've already telegraphed the plan, which is they'll pretend it's an Iranian missile.
Yeah.
And then they'll do a controlled demolition of the mosque, and they'll blame it on the Iranians. And at this point, the war will be so confusing because Americans have sent in ground troops, and the war is raging on multiple fronts, where the Iranians are also destroying the oil refineries, the desalination plants of the Middle East. The whole world, especially Africa, is in terrible economic is in a terrible economic situation. There might be a food shortage in Africa. There could be a famine in Africa. And so the entire world is sort of like distracted,
Right.
right? So then the Al-Aqsa Mosque is blown up, and like people are like, what? What was that? What is the Al-Aqsa Mosque, right? Because like people don't have enough food to eat. There's rioting in the streets. The grocery stores are empty. Right? People aren't arguing like, okay, well, you know, I don't have a job and my bank account has gone to zero and there's no food and like everyone's fighting each other. Like who cares about the Al-Aqsa Mosque?